Wanting positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting negative experience is a positive experience. Imagine that you have set yourself a goal to become a successful entrepreneur. You commit to putting in a significant amount of effort to achieve it. However, this commitment also means that being far from your goal will cause you to experience negative emotions, as you will be acutely aware of the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This gap can have a significant impact on your well-being and self-esteem. This correlates to the wisdom of Epicurus in that if you wish to be rich, do not add to your money, but subtract from your desire. The backwards law is based on the idea that the more you strive for something, the more you'll experience negative outcomes or feel worse than you did before. It seems to contradict the advice we've been given throughout our lives, which is that hard work and effort lead to greater success and happiness. However, the backwards law suggests that there is a limit to how much effort we should put into achieving a goal, and that sometimes we need to take a step back and let things unfold naturally. It's all about balance and recognizing when too much striving can be counterproductive. Alan Wilson Watts, an English writer, theologian, and speaker, is recognized for his extensive contributions in propagating the tenets of Eastern philosophies, including Buddhism, Taoism, and Advaita Vedanta, to the Western world. His works have been instrumental in bridging the gap between the Eastern and Western philosophical traditions and have been widely appreciated for their insightful and thought-provoking nature. One of Watts's most notable observations is indeed the backwards law. Although the backwards law comes directly from Tao Te Ching or Zen Buddhism, Watt takes credit for spreading its principles to the Western audience. Alan simplified it as, the more you try and grab a hold of something, the more it slips through your fingers. This law applies to tapping into the energy flow of our efforts and focus. When we stop trying, we'll get what we want. The idea of the backwards law reminds us to think beyond superficial goals and consider what we really want out of life and why we want it. It encourages us to seek deeper meaning and fulfillment, rather than simply pursuing worldly achievements. Watts states, we don't know what we truly want because we cannot define it. Thus, the backwards law doesn't tell us what we should focus less upon, but instead instructs us to direct our energy to what we truly desire. It pushes us to dissect our goals and desires until we reach an understanding of what makes us want them. The principle of the backwards law is a concept that can aid us in delving deeper into our desires and motivations. It emphasizes the importance of turning our attention inwards and critically examining our innermost desires to gain a better understanding of our true needs. This principle encourages us to question why we want something, what we expect to gain from it, and whether it aligns with our core values and beliefs. By doing so, we can identify any discrepancies between our surface-level desires and our deeper needs, which can help us make more informed decisions and lead a more fulfilling life. Firstly, the pursuit of happiness through constant seeking can be counterproductive. It challenges the common belief that happiness is attainable only through the achievement of specific goals. In fact, this perpetual seeking can lead to lower levels of happiness compared to a state of simply letting go and experiencing happiness without any particular motive. Secondly, anxiety is primarily triggered by our attempts to exert control over our surroundings. This tendency often leads to a disregard for the limitations of our control, and we tend to impose our will on our emotions and external environment. This approach only serves to heighten our anxiety. However, by relinquishing control, we can cultivate self-acceptance and move closer towards attaining peace of mind. Thirdly, wealth is deprived when you remind yourself that you want to be rich. The more you try to be wealthy, the poorer you will feel, regardless of how much money you actually have. True wealth is a mental state. Finally, When we shift our focus from chasing love to self-discovery, we create a conducive environment for love to flow towards us. Knowing ourselves and our core values helps us identify the specific type of love that best aligns with our needs and desires. Arthur Schopenhauer, a German philosopher, argued that the human tendency to seek more in order to satisfy their desires, while simultaneously perpetuating those desires, is irrational. Schopenhauer believed that humans, like all other entities in the universe, are embodiments of the will to live, or the will. As a result, we desire things because of our innate will to live, which compels us to pursue satisfaction through various means. In the philosophical view of Schopenhauer, the concept of the will is a powerful driving force that is irrational, aimless, and never-ending. This unfettered striving is the cause of all human suffering, and it cannot be alleviated by the pleasures of the world. According to Schopenhauer, we are all plagued by a pathological desire for more than we need, which is fueled by an unrelenting sense of scarcity. This desire is insatiable and can never be fully satisfied, leading to a life of perpetual dissatisfaction and restlessness. Schopenhauer believed that the only way to escape this cycle of suffering is to detach oneself from the will, which he considered to be the ultimate goal of human existence. The human mind perceives a sense of lack when it believes that the present moment is inadequate or incomplete. This feeling of inadequacy causes individuals to seek comfort in circumstances that they believe will provide greater pleasure. However, upon reaching these situations, individuals often find themselves in the same state of dissatisfaction that they were trying to escape. According to Schopenhauer, thus also every keen pleasure is an error and an illusion, for no attained wish can give lasting satisfaction. To effectively utilize the backwards law, we can sometimes resort to affirmations. However, it's important to note that if the affirmation is not in alignment with your current beliefs, it may not be effective. For instance, repeatedly affirming, "I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire," would be futile if you don't actually believe that you're a millionaire. Your conscious mind will resist this new belief, and it won't penetrate your subconscious, thus failing to bring about the desired outcome. The key to achieving millionaire-level success is to shift your focus away from the monetary outcome and instead concentrate on the process that leads to such success. Rather than fixating on the end goal, it is important to consistently align your actions with the goal and approach each step along the way as a means to achieving it. For instance, if your goal is to attract more clients to your business, every new website, click, potential client call, or query from a potential client should be considered a step towards achieving that goal. Focusing on these small successes helps to condition your subconscious mind for growth and abundance, rather than a fixed mindset of scarcity. The effective alignment of desire and imagination is crucial for achieving optimal results. Often, excessive focus solely on the desire can impede progress. Intense fixation on a future destination may lead to neglecting the use of imagination in visualizing the process required to reach that goal. In instances where there is a desire for something missing from one's life, a challenge arises in believing that such aspirations are attainable through imagination. Distinguishing between wanting and genuinely believing in the possibility of achieving a goal is paramount. To leverage the law of reversed effort successfully, both desires and imagination must be harmoniously synchronized. While diligent effort and perseverance in pursuing one's desires are commendable, the lack of belief or an inability to envision oneself accomplishing the desired outcome may impede success. In essence, for a positive outcome, it is imperative that one can envision and believe in the feasibility of their goals. We must look into our subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill wisely said, "Your subconscious mind works continuously while you are awake and while you sleep." In his book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy provides an illustration involving walking along a plank of wood placed on the ground. This task is generally easy for the majority of people as there are no consequences to losing balance on the plank. In this scenario, the desire to walk along the plank aligns seamlessly with the imagination, which believes in the capability and envisions the process of successfully walking the plank. Consequently, the task is completed effortlessly. Now consider the same plank of wood elevated 20 feet in the air between two walls. The introduction of an element of consequence adds complexity to the task. While the desire to walk along the plank may persist, the imagination may now visualize the potential of falling off and sustaining an injury. In such a situation, challenges may arise because the conscious desire to perform an action contrasts with the imagination and visualization that shape the belief and self-image residing in the subconscious mind, responsible for 95% of our thoughts and actions. We must be present, as emphasized by Buddha. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Anticipatory anxiety is a type of anxiety that occurs when we face situations that are unfamiliar, uncertain, or we are unsure how to handle them, leading to stress and worry about the future. It is a common experience among many of us, and it can be challenging to manage. The anxiety may manifest as physical symptoms, such as sweating, shaking, or increased heart rate. It may also lead to negative thoughts, such as fear, doubt, or insecurity, that can further exacerbate the anxiety. Managing anticipatory anxiety often requires relinquishing conscious control, which can be a daunting task. However, with the right strategies, such as mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, or relaxation techniques, it is possible to overcome anticipatory anxiety and improve our overall mental well-being. To achieve a better balance between conscious and subconscious decision-making, it's helpful to reframe our perspective. Rather than viewing challenges and obstacles as threats, we should see them as opportunities for personal growth and learning. This shift in mindset allows us to cultivate the optimal conditions for intuitive and subconscious processes to guide our actions. Over time, we can train ourselves to make these decisions subconsciously, leading to a more natural and intuitive decision-making process. Let's take driving as an example. Learning how to drive is often a difficult, if not nerve-wracking task. There's a lot to absorb and even more to practice, but our brains get used to the motions of driving after some time. And as soon as we get the hang of how to drive, we start to do it subconsciously. That's why many people can talk, sing, or multitask in different ways while driving. But you should still be focused on the road whenever you're behind the wheel. But I digress. The same thing can happen with letting ourselves fall into something called the flow state. The flow state is when our actions happen effortlessly, as though our body was on autopilot. Just like how musicians become one with the music as they play an instrument, or dancers become one with their dance moves. This state often applies to high-performing individuals who spend a lot of mental and physical practice in their daily life. Some examples of this include painters, chess players, and professional climbers. When we exert too much conscious effort, we might disrupt this balance and hinder our ability to enter the flow state. This is due to the fact that overthinking can create mental roadblocks, leading us to second-guess our actions or become overly self-critical. Essentially, being in our own head too much can disrupt the natural instinctive process that facilitates flow. Therefore, relinquishing excessive conscious control becomes a vital step to entering the flow state, where conscious intent guides our actions without interfering with the automatic intuitive processes that enable us to perform at our best. I shall leave you with Seneca's wisdom of true happiness is. to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Just remember, the more you try to cling to something, the more it will slip away from you. When we learn to let go and stop obsessing about having control over every facet of our lives, we can start being fully present at the moment. We get more time to focus on the things that are right in front of us. Our quality time with our loved ones improves, and our bodies and minds feel more rested and focused. When we learn to live fully in the present, we can become more mindful of our thoughts, actions, and surroundings. This heightened awareness allows us to better understand our strengths and weaknesses and identify areas where we can improve ourselves. With this newfound self-awareness, we can then focus on setting and achieving our goals, making sure that the choices we make and the actions we take align with our vision for the future. By staying present and intentional in our daily lives, we can create a fulfilling and purposeful existence for ourselves, one step at a time.